Hey guys, this is Ryan from El Topo Loco giving you guys another deck profile. So the cool thing about Dragon Ball Super right now is we are coming up on a new block, and it's called the Zenkai Block. And essentially, we're going to get cards that when you combo, or it could be really any battle card you combo, at the end of each battle, you could take one of your combo cards, put it into a Z deck, or Z energy, I should say, and then we could use our Z deck to either play a Z Awakened Leader or even Z battle cards. So this is really going to transform the game. Uh, I'm usually the red player on my team, so you're going to definitely see another red profile from me. And today we're going to work on Syn Shenron. Now, before I start talking about Syn, everybody's hyped up about Gogeta, and that could still be a good deck, but I have a feeling that it might be like overhyped at the moment. I really think that Syn Shenron is, after just a few games of testing it, is way stronger than I initially gave it credit. I really kind of dismissed it at first, and it actually kind of feels like U7, but maybe even better. Um, Maybe on the same level. That might be a little bit me making too many early claims right now, but I really feel like this is on par with it because it has a lot of cheap battle cards, a lot of strong battle cards, and it has a lot of synergy with itself. The one benefit that this has over U7 is U7 can be a little bit RNG depending on how well you mill or how bad you mill. And this deck can be a lot more consistent because it draws a lot of cards. And also, you don't have to worry about getting rid of any pieces that you wish you didn't get rid of. So let's start with the deck profile right now. Essentially, your leader is going to start off almost like a wish leader. You're starting off on the front side with a 10K. You can't swing at all. And your deck is limited to red battle cards only. So no Overwhelm unless you're using the new Vegito Overwhelm. But I'm pretty sure he only gets most of his effects off if you have a Red Saiyan leader. So we're not using that. Um, he can't swing, and you're going to tap him, and you're going to search for two of the Dragon Balls, and then you're going to put them into your hand. And your Awaken is if you have six or more Z energy, or if you get to four or less, if I remember correctly. The backside doesn't seem too flashy. Oh, I should also say when you awaken, you only untap one energy and you actually untap the leader, which seems kind of weird. But since you're putting it in rest mode, most likely, you are going to be getting the two Dragon Balls awaken, and then you get a swing with your leader now, and you get a draw technically from the swing from the leader. So it's almost like an untap one, draw one. The backside of the leader is actually not, it doesn't seem that great at first. I mean, yeah, you get the traditional draw one on the swing, and he has an activate main that seems kind of underwhelming at first. But essentially, you get to choose one of your own battle cards, minus it 15 power, 15K, and then you get to choose a unison or a battle card, and this could be on either side of the field, and minus it 15. Now, there are cards that trigger on your side of the field when they are removed from the battlefield by an effect. So you're able to trigger your own effects, but also because you get to choose the second target on either side of the field, you could potentially target two of your own guys or maybe just get rid of something on their side of the field. So let's go right into the deck profile. First, we're starting with six of the Dragon Balls that are made for this deck. It's just a generic draw one. And then with this leader specifically, as soon as you activate the draw one, this will go right into your Z energy. I've pretty much awakened on all my testing games on turn two. Turn three if you're unlucky, but you are going to be mulliganing for as many of these as possible. You really don't, just like with old wish leaders, you really don't wish you have more than two of these Dragon Balls in life. When your leader does search for a Dragon Ball, when you tap them down, you get to search life and deck. So it's kind of nice to know what's in your life, but you do have to shuffle your life. So you don't know what you're going to be picking up, but you can figure out, do you have super combos? Do you have a secret rare in there? And hopefully you have 0 to 2 of these in your life. So if you have these in your opening hand, I don't mulligan them back. The other card I'm really looking for on my opening hand is our Unison. And you might be a little surprised, we're actually not running the Omega Shenron Unison. He didn't seem that great. This Gogeta, though, is really busted in here. So when you play him, he has an auto. Search the top three decks or three cards in your deck, I believe it is, for any red card. Doesn't it could be an extra card, it could be a unison, a secret rare, it could be anything really, and it's not like locked to a certain archetype or anything like that. So that's really powerful on its own. Uh, this is a 15k plus 2 unison, and I was really thinking that Bandai is really going to like kind of shy away from those, but they finally gave Red one of these. The plus 2, we are going to abuse in this deck. So it's a plus 2, so it's going to be very hard to kill. Um, and then you get to choose any one energy card or one cost card in your hand and play it in rest mode for free. So you get the on play effects with that. He also has an activate battle, which is a -4, and he will get plus 15k double strike for the battle. So getting a 30k double strike. So he's a potential threat that they are going to want to try to swing into a few times. And again, he's going to be very hard to kill with that plus 2. Now, we are going to be abusing that plus 2 as much as possible in this deck. So let's see a lot of the targets that you can actually play. So we're going to start with these 3. And I know when you first look at them, they all have a 2 in the corner. So you're like, how are we going to play this off the Gogeta? But all 3 of these have a permanent that if our leader is a Sin card, which we do, they are decreased by 1 in our hand. So since they are 1 cost in our hand, they work with the Gogeta. And they all have an on-play effect. I'm still kind of tweaking with the ratios. I'm not sure if I want to go 3 of the Neutron. I might go 3 and 3 with the him and Hayes, but I think 2 is the right play at the moment, but we'll see how it goes. But this guy searches the top 5 for a a Shadow Dragon of that is red and 5 or less, I believe, or maybe 4 or less. Or you could pick up the unison. So turn 1, you could play any one of these guys, essentially. You're going to be playing at least 2 Dragon Balls, maybe more. And then hopefully you're going turn 2 right into this unison, and then maybe free playing even more of these, getting more effects. So he's just a tutor. These 2, when they play, they draw a card. So that's kind of actually really nice, especially later in the game when you're actually want to picking up cards that are not necessarily your Strato Dragons, like maybe negates, maybe secret rare, or I don't know, whatever red card that might not be a Shadow Dragon. So they give you a natural draw. And then if it's early in the game, like probably your turn 2 when you're free playing it, you also get to put a cracked ball into your Z energy. Or maybe it's your hand. I would have to reread the card. But essentially, it's really setting up for your turn 2 awaken almost all the time. Now, if you don't think you're going to awaken, I'm sorry. If you think you're going to awaken on the second turn and you have 4 balls already in your Z energy, I typically will purposely whiff on this because I think they go directly into the Z energy. So I know I'm not awakening on my turn 1, and let's say I have 4 of these or 4 of these cracked balls already in the Z energy. What I'm going to do is save it for my next turn, use my leader effect, and then I'm going to actually draw 2. So I'm going to be plussing a lot more from that rather than just putting it directly into Z energy. But if you have 3 of them, that will help you awaken, or 3 cracked balls that help you awaken a lot easier. Now, both of these have basically the same auto, but they have an activate battle that's a little bit different. The activate battle is you get to send that intended card to the drop area. I think Hayes is activate battle and Oceanus might be activate main. But when you send either one of these to the drop at their appropriate times, Hayes will give any Shadow Dragon critical, which is really nice in this deck because there are some double and triple strikers. So double strike crit, triple strike crit, very, very good. Even better, giving a barrier. And this is not just barrier for the turn, you're giving it for 2 turns, your turn and your opponent's turn. So keeping your guys alive. The next card also can be played off of this Gogeta, and it's off archetype, but it's very, very strong if you can use it at the right time. That's Broly Crown. I mean, you guys hopefully know what he does. He's going to be sniping cards out of your hand, out of your opponent's hand, and also giving you that knowledge of what they have. It's really, really broken if you can use this at the right time, especially with Gamma running around so much right now. Now, with our Unison package, we also, of course, we're running red. We're going with new ruler. Now, you will see that I'm not running Yamcha in here. First of all, we can't run Videl because we don't have a 3-cost Unison. But Yamcha, I did have it 2, and I think that siding 2 might be fine. I wanted to make cuts, and he just felt like the weakest. And right now, a lot of cards are being played either on window 1, or if they were playing on window 2, a lot of them either have deflect or barrier. So Yamcha is kind of feeling a little weak right now, but in certain situations, as always, he could be good. But I think he might be more of a side deck card. But if there are a few things you want to make cuts with, feel free to put them in. But I think 2 felt like the right number. I don't think you're going to do the typical 3 Yamchas in this deck. Now, the next few cards I'm going to fly by just for time's sake, because a lot of these are just generic good red cards that you're going to see on almost every single red deck. So we're running for the Raditz super combos. It just seems to be the best super combo. I don't think there was a super combo that really went with the theme, so it wasn't really searchable or anything like that. And Raditz is just very, very strong. It helps you filter, and you get to see more cards. Vegeta Resolved Renewed, hitting those floodgates. Secret Rare, you're going to run the best Secret Rare possibly in the game, definitely for red. I know Vegito, it seems like it could be better in some situations, but since we don't have a Red Saiyan leader, there's no question Vegeta is the way to go. 2, testing the oppositions. Negate blockers are strong. And of course, we got to run at least 1 Champa. I wouldn't even feel bad running 2 because I think there's almost all 10Ks. I'm sorry, almost all 5K combos. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of them. So you could probably get away with 2 if you really wanted to. And I wanted to put 1 Kaioken Goku, and I'd probably side at least 1 more, just in case there's something annoying with barrier. Our deck does hit a lot of cards, but not a lot of them involve barrier hate. So I wanted to have at least 1 of those in there just for those moments. All right, so this is, I think, our only off-colored card because of one, we can't run non-color or non-red battle cards, so we could run extra cards. This one is called Thunder Dragon, and it has a permanent if our leader is a Shadow Dragon or a Sing card, I think it might be. We can activate this if we have, I think, 3 or more of our energy in rest mode. And you're going to be tapping out a lot or using at least most of your energy, so that's going to happen pretty often. You don't want to run more than 2, I think, because you don't want them to get cloggy in hand, or I guess they're not really super cloggy because you could really, yeah, I want to say clog, but really you just don't want to have off-color charge. The activate main or activate battle, you choose any one of your red Sin cards or Shadow Dragon cards, it might be. I think it's Shadow Dragon. So this works on the leader, and it works on any of your Shadow Dragon battle cards. For the turn, you get plus 5k. So essentially, you are getting a free Senzu Bean. Doesn't necessarily untap energy, but making your leader a 20k on defense is very, very strong. And if you are Z-Wagon, you can even make it 25k. Now, it does have another effect. That's not going to happen because I think we need like a yellow leader or something like that, but you're just using it for Senzu Bean. All right, so now we're going to see a lot of the themed cards. I'm going to have to try to go by memory because it's too small to actually read this, and I don't think I can make it larger. So first we have Ice Shenron. This is kind of like our U7 package in a way, where we are playing cheap battle cards very, very often. So it has an activate main. It's just 1 red. You could just play this card from your hand if you have a Z-Awakened leader, or if you have 6 or more Z energy. So that part is not limit 1. So you could technically pay 4 energy and play 4 of these if you want in a single turn. And it's just a 15k beater at that point, but it does have an auto as well. And if you do this well, this card and also the next card that's very similar to it, you could actually get 2 potential swings off of 1 single card each turn. So the auto is a limit 1. When it gets sent to the battlefield to the drop area via effect, which a lot of time you're going to trigger off for your leader, or maybe even the Sin you're going to see in a little bit, you get a free play him, and then he will get critical for the turn. So first swing is not critical, second swing is critical. Pretty good. And if you really wanted to combo this with maybe the Haze Shenron, you can make it 2 critical swings in 1 single turn. Next one is the Nova one. He does almost identical to the same thing as the Ice. Cheap battle card that could play for free. And then if he gets sent to the drop, instead of getting critical, you get a draw card. So sometimes you're just using that to just, like, if they baby hatch you, You could maybe minus their baby hatch and kill it off with a bunch of your effects, but then you could also just use this effect just to cycle and draw. All right, so this Syn Shenron, he has double strike. He can be played for one red. Now, this one red is a limit one, so I could actually see the argument of cutting him to three if you really want, but he's a 5K combo and he's very, very strong. So I just figured it's never bad to see him. But you do get to draw a card on the limit one, even I believe if it gets counterplayed, if I remember correctly. And then when he swings, you can choose one of your Shadow Dragons, send it to the drop, and then minus 20k to either a battle card or a unison. And I don't remember if it specifies it has to be on your opponent's side of the field or not. Most of the time, you are going to target your opponent's battle cards, maybe even their unisons. This is really good against the Boo unison, the blue one, because you could essentially subtract 3 markers in one swing. You really have to make sure you kind of bait their -1 just so they don't send it to the drop. Or if you want, you could also put Oceanus on this to give them barrier. So then you're almost guaranteed to get 3 markers off that Boo unison. But because he does KO something to get that -20, you're probably going to choose one of these 2 cards, and you're going to get that trigger off them and then get another free play out of it. This plus your leader effect, you could subtract something by 35k without anything else, really. All right, the next card we have, I'm just going to zoom in because it has a lot of text. This is our big boss monster. Luckily, he's a 5k combo, so we're going to run him at 4. Deflect, already great as it is. 30k triple strike. So again, possibly give this crit, make it very, very good. Now this has a lot of text, so I'm just going to put it up on the screen if you want to read along. So if this power is reduced, it gets plus 5k. So again, you could kind of use this with your leader effect, minus it by 15, which is really minusing it by 10. So it gets a little bit of a power boost if negged. It's kind of a weird effect. I don't really see myself using that too much. If your leader is a red Shadow Dragon card or a red Z leader, and you have 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So it's a 2 cost from turn 3 onwards. Activate battle once per turn. Choose up to one of your battle cards or unison, and it gets minus 3,000 power for each card in your Z energy. So most likely, again, you're going to either use this on your Ice or your Nova Shenron. Additionally, if your leader is a Z leader, choose up to 1 battle card or a unison, and it gets minus 30,000 for the turn. All right, so you're going to get the most bang for your buck when you have a Z leader. We'll get into that in a second. All right, so these last 2 cards are not involved with the Syn kind of theme, but free play is still great. So, I mean, I know we're running a lot of cheap cards that are pretty strong. A lot of them are just 1, maybe 2 cost cards. And then we're also playing a lot of free stuff with the Gogeta. But One Hit Wonder is an old card, I think from maybe set 7 or 8, maybe. Essentially, anytime you minus something on the field or maybe one of your opponent's cards, you get to free play this if you don't have another one. So it has like the old version of Unique. So it's just a 15k beater they get for free out of nowhere, and it's pretty easy to trigger that effect off. We run it at 2. It also has an activate main, I believe it is. If it's in your drop and you pay a red, you can subtract something by 5k. So you could use it to trigger off a second Goku, or most likely you're only going to use that effect if you have to pair it up with, I don't know, minus 30k and something was 35. If you just need that little extra subtraction power to kill something. And the last card is going to be Heartfelt Plea. Now, Heartfelt Plea is so far, unless any rulings change in the next few weeks, it's going to be very, very broken this next set. It is a one of, but our Unison could search it. We're having 6 Dragon Balls that could draw us cards, and we have free play +1s that can potentially put it into our hand very, very easily. And we'll also know if it's in our life just because of our leader's front side. Heartfelt, the reason why it's not amazing a lot of the time is, one, because now it's definitely limited to 1. A lot of decks only ran it at maybe 2 or 3 when it was strong anyway. But when you have Heartfelt in your hand, sometimes you play awkwardly because you're like, hey, I need to save my Awaken and set this up before I get my awaken off so I can get my heartfelt play. Or maybe you draw it too late in the game and you miss that opportunity and now you have a dead card. But as far as we know at the moment, Z Awaken is the same thing as Awaken. So we're awakening turn 2, maybe turn 3, pretty much every game. Are we going to get Heartfelt off by that time? Almost guaranteed no. Maybe if you got a turn 3 and you have this Syn Shenron in play, that's a possibility, but we're almost always going to use it on our Z Awaken. And on your Z Awaken, you're going to have a lot of nutty plays as it is, and you're already put a lot of pressure on with double strikes and triple strikes, and possibly even a free play from our Z leader. Now, because of that, Heartfelt just coming down, possibly critting them, just drawing 2, and then just a 30k triple strike on top of everything else, unless they violent ray you or maybe did some kind of floodgate. It's probably going to be a good game. All right, so first in our Z deck, we have our Z Awaken leader. Now we need to be at 3 or less life, and our super combos also need to be at 4, so we do need to take some hits early on if we want to make sure that we get both of those effects off. There's also a potential that you might not ever Z Awaken, which is fine because of that probably means you won the game before you even got a chance to use it. But you need to be at 3 or less life, and you need to have a Red Syn, I believe. Red Syn Shenron. The nice thing is, it doesn't cost any energy to do this. Typical swings on the draw. I like to kind of swing first with the front side to see if the negate's going to happen. And then if there's no negate, I'll go into the double strike probably with the Z Awaken. It has an activate main. Choose one of your Shadow Dragon battle cards and up to 1 battle card or unison. And they get minus 20k for the turn. So again, you could choose both sides of the field. Additionally, if you may remove 6 Dragon Ball cards from your drop from the game, and if you do, you get to play 1 red Shadow Dragon from your hand. So this is a free play, has no cost to it. So ideally, you're going to be playing that 8 drop for free, another triple striker. So even though it has limit 1 on the effect, you could essentially play 2 of those in 1 turn, 2 triple strikes, potential heartfelt plea play as well during this turn. So maybe 3 triple strikes in 1 turn. Very, very, very strong. Now you might be wondering, how do we Z Awaken if we're stuck at 4? First play is to take a hit. Second play is defensively, you are going to use your Testing the Opposition. But in your Z deck, you have an option to awaken or self-awaken almost anytime you want. So we're running 2 of these Vegeta surmounting the impossible. It is unique. We're not going to get the permanent effect. I'm sorry, actually, no, we can. If your leader is we do not get it. It's missing some text right here. On the bottom, we need a Son Goku BR leader to get this effect. So he's just going to be a 5k always. But the reason why we're playing him is to get our super combos active or putting us at that 3 life for our leader to Z Awaken. You're going to place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. When this card is played, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand and draw 1 card. So you are cycling a card and also plussing from your life. So that's good enough on its own. And then you are going to potentially set up your Z Awaken or super combos. And one of the most busted cards in this deck is this Rush Attack Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. This card alone can be a finisher. 15k deflect. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to give him barrier with the Nova, but he can give himself barrier on the second swing. Or potentially first swing if you don't want to get 2 swings. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 mono red with 5,000 combo from your drop and combo it with its skills negated. Additionally, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, and it gets minus 15k for the turn. So you are subtracting more cards now. You essentially have a 20k swing as long as you had a combo card in the drop. That's strong enough as it is. And then it has an activate main. If you have 4 or more Z energy, switch this card to active. It gets plus 1,000 and barrier and double strike. So 25k double strike barrier, and it still gets that auto because it's not once per turn. So you can subtract another thing by 15k, so essentially minus 30k. And you also got that combo again, which can fuel your Z energy even further every single time without wasting cards in your hand. And it's not once per turn and it's not unique, so you could just keep going one after another after another. I also want to make sure you guys are aware when you are doing your Z deck plays, you want to use your Z energy that are your cracked balls all the time because you want to get that leader effect off as soon as possible. That's the profile. Test it out. Very, very strong. If you like U7, you're going to like this deck. I think it's better than Gogeta. Prove me wrong if you want, but have a good one. Look forward to see more deck profiles, maybe from some of the other teammates, and see how they're feeling with the other colors. Have a good one. Stay loco.